Yo, 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 ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first edition of the Back2Warcraft podcast. My name is Neo, I'm your host, and I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Ricky Bidoux. Ricky, how you doing?
What's up, dude? I'm really excited about this. We've been talking about this for a while, and finally me and you get to sit down and hatch out some details, talk about some stuff, and this is going to be a regular thing. I'm excited to talk to you, man.
Always. Exactly. This is the first time we do this, so maybe we have to introduce what we're doing here, why we're doing this, and what's going to happen. So obviously you know us from Back2Warcraft and Dust League and wherever we are. We're always on Twitch usually, but we thought maybe we can give you a little extra as part of our Patreon. And I wanted to do a podcast for a very, very long time, basically since I went full-time, but I never had... not really the time, but I always need a partner. I needed Remo 10 years ago to like start Back2Warcraft, and now, Ricky, I feel like I need you to kick this podcast off.
I think what's good between me and you is some people have said this with our casting together too, is we're very contrasting people.
Sure.
I am known to speak my mind, and you are, you speak your mind too, but in a very filtered way. So I think we have a bit of a yin and a yang. Which I think is going to be good for something like this. We've both been around this scene for a long time. We've both seen different experiences and stuff like that. So I'm excited to like just mesh this together. This could be very interesting,
Yeah. So what you're saying is I'm the shill and you're the devil, something like that.
Sure. I just, I don't know. I mean, maybe this podcast will actually change people's perspective on you and me. Because I don't think we're trying to filter ourselves here. We're not really. This isn't. We're just gonna tell our truths and just speak on what's going on in the scene and just give our opinions. And some people aren't gonna like it, and some people might like it, but I don't personally care. I'm just gonna. I think it's better to just tell it like it is. And if people like it, then that's the whole point.
Exactly. So first of all, a little disclaimer. We don't really care about language here, so we will say things like shit and fuck, and we don't really care if this gets demonetized on YouTube. We don't give a fuck. We don't give a shit, right? So
we don't give a shit.
We don't give a shit at all. We don't give a fuck. We don't give a flying fuck. So we just speak however we want to here, and if you don't like that, sorry, that's kind of your problem from this point on. So this is my shilliness out the window, but a little more introduction. I think this is going to be a weekly thing. We want to discuss what's happening with Warcraft 3, the game we all love, and this is why we're all here. What's happening on Blizzard's side, what's happening on W3 Champions side, what's happening on the Back2Warcraft side, what's happening in the tournaments, what's happening in the community. This is what we want to cover and give our opinion on things, and maybe get some good talking points from you, the community, as well, to discuss what you want to have discussed.
Oh, yeah, I think that's a big key, too. Like, me and you are kind of just going to vent on whatever news happens throughout the week. But I think, like, you guys watching on all the platforms, if you guys want to comment and just say, I'd love to hear your opinion on this, or maybe just, leave some comments and we'll just pick up on them. But for the most part, we'd love some feedback, whatever you guys want to hear, really. But I think we're just going to cover the main points, the important points, talk about a lot about the game, the community, casting. I'd love to pick your brain.
Life. Exactly.
Yeah, I would love to pick your brain on some of that stuff. Hopefully we get to that. Just like whatever we're doing, because you know what, I have a full-time career, and esports like Warcraft 3 lately this year, and definitely a big part of last year, it's become such a huge part of my life. I know it's full-time for you too. So like we do so much work. Like you do so much work. And I don't think anyone really realizes it. But like Warcraft 3 is our life, man. It really is. There's no getting around it.
True. Now the concerts are gone, definitely.
Yeah, dude. Which one didn't you have tickets for one?
And then dude, I had tickets for 10 concerts or something. They're all refunded or postponed. So yeah.
How many do you go to a year?
I think my record was like 54.
In 1 year?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That was a little bit much. That was a little extreme.
So is that like your days off? Because you barely have days off too. So it's just like, I'm off.
It was usually when I was casting in like around noon when the Chinese tournaments are happening, and I had the evening off, so I could go to concerts in the evening. There was no Meisterschaft back then, so I had Tuesday and Wednesday off as well. Yeah, this is what. But anyway, this is already off topic. Fuck off topic. Maybe we'll save off topic for later, or we just do whatever we want. This is part of the Patreon. When this is out, you probably saw the news. It's patreon.com/Back2Warcraft. You can sign up for different tiers. You can support what we do if you like what we do, and all the Patreon guys get this without ads in hopefully the best audio quality possible and 1 week early, so you will be up to date as much as we can. It's going to come out every Friday is what we plan to do.
Yeah.
Definitely going to be a
Friday.
weekly thing. Sometimes we record on Monday. Sometimes we record on Thursday. However, it fits our schedule. So sometimes we're a little more up to date. Sometimes we're a little less up to date. But you will get news to your Patreon, Spotify, RSS feeds. Wherever you listen to podcasts, we will be there as well. And hope you guys enjoy it. And this is the first episode, of course, and I think we have to recap a little. 2020 was very eventful for all of us. So where do we stand in 2021 is the thing I want to discuss first.
Jeez, where do we even begin? For me, it's been like a wild ride. I was like a team manager for Dust. Now I'm like casting the IEM Katowice Grand Finals. It's pretty nuts. But I think
we have to make sure that people know that you are the B stream.
Yeah, more viewers than the mainstream. So let's just talk about. I want to talk about you. I want to ask you a question. Warcraft 3. This is the most work you guys probably have ever. There's tons of events to cast. How does this feel? This is your full-time career. Warcraft 3, all the rumors and stuff like that. The release of Reforged was a disaster. You must have been worried for your job, but then the community, everything else, ESL, picking this game up. This must be a great time for you to be to have Back to Warcraft right now.
Yeah, it's super awesome, especially thanks to ESL, because we finally have steady jobs with Meisterschaft, and we had it with Dreamhack in 2020. If that will continue, we'll see. But I'm definitely hope to do so. So this is already steady income, so we don't have to worry about our sub count too much, or did we have $200 of donations more than last month or less than last month? Is the support getting weaker? Do we have to worry? That's all not the big thing. Of course, we love our donators, we love our patrons, we love our subs, but it's really cool to have that baseline of income, and that was like 2020. We went full time in 2020, and yeah, for sure we were worried. Like, what's going to happen? We had, we talked about this on Todd's Town Hall plenty of times, that we were working prior to the release. We were working on some tournaments that were pretty damn awesome, and then 2 days after the release, 1 day prior to the announcement of said event, that got cancelled. that was a brutal start, man. Everybody was shitting on the game you love, events getting cancelled that you were working for. There was a rough start, but things just went better and better, especially on the community side of things. Do we want to talk what Blizzard did in 2020? I don't think it's really worth mentioning.
No, I think we should do like some form of recap, just because if something's really, really old, then we don't want to have to go back to it, and then we could just plow ahead.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to do that, that's sure. I think it's just mostly been miscommunication. The community not knowing. I mean, Blizzard obviously not investing that much into their esports community, which is what we are. The esports side of like pro gaming side. Obviously, they thought a lot about their campaign, and they thought a lot about the graphics, and they didn't actually consider the pro esports side. So I think that was the main issue. I think a lot of us, and mind you, the pro gaming community is a lot smaller than the actual Warcraft 3 community.
Yeah.
I would say that there's probably, I don't know the numbers, but probably 90% of players aren't involved in the pro scene. They just like to play campaign. They just like to play custom games or whatever like that. So that's what I would imagine. I don't have the actual figures. But yeah, it seems like we were kind of left out in the dark, and just the game was broken at the start. It just wasn't a good game. A lot of features that Warcraft 3, The Frozen Throne had for so long weren't there anymore. We didn't have ladder. We didn't have profiles. We didn't have actual ways of recording stats. There was no real reason to play. People were just laddering, and if they lost, it was never recorded. It was just whatever. And it kind of gave no purpose to the game. And I think that was a huge issue. Just right off the bat, was this game, it had less than what we had before. And what did we see in between. We saw the release of StarCraft 2. We saw all of the features that Blizzard put in, resume from replay, good overlays in game. Just like we saw StarCraft 2 RTS blow up. And then when Reforged was announced, I was thinking, first of all, holy shit, this is our chance. This is our StarCraft 2. We get to have this huge boom, and we're at the helm. So I was really excited about it. And then it just completely fell flat. It kind of felt like we got robbed. I don't know about you, but it felt like we got robbed of that 10-year dynasty that StarCraft 2 had. Maybe we could have had a 10-year dynasty with tons of opportunities, and it could have been a different life, So I was kind of bummed out. What did you think about that?
I love how you say, I don't want to talk about it too much, and then you go on a 5-minute monologue. It's a classic Bidoux right here. I think to sum things up, core elements were missing, core elements are still missing, things were promised and not delivered yet, but what we got were some updates right after, like the first 1 or 2 months after with some updates, and we got balance patches, so that's what we get. And I think we will talk about this a little later, but you know what? With like a year between things, we can also be a little happy. Like I can be a little happy about things. Of course, there's no dynasty. There's smaller longevity than we thought. But there's also no competition. There's still just like Back2Warcraft doing everything, and that's awesome, dude. Like we still have the monopoly. I don't like calling it that because we don't do anything to hold a monopoly. We don't exclude streamers from anything or something. We're always inclusive when it comes to the community. But if there's a Warcraft tournament, people just come to us. There's no, let's say, like Kaldor tried for a couple of months, but he's up to Valorant or something. So people that might have been competition, they just dipped in and now they're gone, and we are the kings of the castle again. Or
it's
still
crazy too, like that everyone just opened the door and let you guys just run in. Even now,
because we're
like
so nice, dude.
I honestly, I think it comes down to a lot of things. Consistency. You guys you were big to begin with. And a lot of people, if you're starting off new, it's hard to compete. When you think of community stream, you think of Back2Warcraft. That's just the way it is now. Somebody could come in, somebody might come in, but it's tough for a new, I don't even know, like a new duo. Like what do you even come in as? It's cool, man. Back2Warcraft is the shit. I know that when Dust Gaming was formed and we were building the super NA team, we only joined War 3 Info League so that we can get casted on Back2Warcraft because there was 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 viewers, and we're like, holy shit, dude.
When you were on the first time, we had you for a pre-match interview, and for the first time ever, there was a Warcraft team manager with big balls showing them on screen, like just shitting on the opponent, so loud, so aggressive, in good sportsmanship, obviously.
So
with a cheeky smile.
Yeah, that's come from just StarCraft 2, man. I hated the whole like, yeah, my opponent's very good. It's gonna be hard to beat him. I'm gonna do my best. I fucking hate that shit, dude. Become a brand and become something like that people want to hear, dude. Nobody wants to hear the boring shit. Did I think we were gonna lose to Team Sweden? No. So I made that projected. We're not gonna lose to them. They're gonna lose. So
it was kind of funny because Sweden was always an entertaining team as well. Like they did face paints and stuff. And Endars was always pretty vocal on Twitter, for example. But that clash of you and I think it was Endars there. It's like, oh, yeah. There's a new sheriff in town. Okay, that's something new here. Yeah, that was the first sign that this Bidoux guy is something special, and I think we can all agree, if we like him or not, that he is indeed very, very special. What were we talking about?
We were talking about just like, Back2Warcraft's Monopoly.
Yeah.
But I just meant like the reason why we did so much stuff was to get exposure from Back2Warcraft and get you guys talking about us and because that was, I mean, that your channel was the only way to get noticed in the game. There were no heavy hitter companies involved yet.
You can play against Grubby on his stream.
Grubby! Yeah, you could definitely play against Grubby. Yeah, but you know what I mean.
I mean, yeah.
And dude, honestly, the second that you guys stopped doing War 3 Info League, for the most part, you guys were doing the weekly season matches, but then you ended up just doing semifinals and finals, I think, because your schedule got too hectic. That killed everyone's motivation for War 3 Info League. It just did. The league was great. The website was great. It had good UI. It had good interface. The admins were great. The prize pool was not great. So now that we're all 30, we're not going to have a 10 roster team splitting $300 for first place. What, like it's just not viable. Nobody's going to commit as much. It's not even. It's just not viable that everyone's going to commit so much time. And I think that's what I had the hardest time as a manager for was, I wanted to win. So I had a team of maybe 15 players at the time. 6 were super competitive. 9 were active. So it's like, I mean, who's the money going to go to? So I just did like you earn your keep. So you go by participation if you're playing, and then also win percentage. So you were basically compensated for if we made it to the finals, was it because of you? How many games you play? You know what I mean?
Wow.
And it was the only way I could do it. Because I mean, what are we going to do? Split like $300 with like 15 people. And it's like, it just didn't make sense, but no, but then
I think team leagues is such a huge topic that we can tackle maybe in the future, because like there's so many things to say. Maybe for the next episode or one after, or I don't know, because I will scream at people in that episode. That's for sure. Because you want
to save it?
Yeah, I want to save it for later. I think we're still kind of on the state of Warcraft at the moment.
This is kind of related, right? I mean, there was one team league, War 3 Info League, at the start of Reforged. There was were there cups? I don't even remember. There was like America's Cup, but I don't remember.
We had Rising Star Cup. What was between Jera Cup? I think we had our own cups, right? Or was that later? I don't remember either. It was I don't know.
Yeah,
it's 2019.
It's been a long 3 years, honestly.
Sure. So as I say, like I remember when I was at BlizzCon when Reforged was announced, we're hanging out with a bunch of StarCraft casters like Wardy, for example, and at some dinner he jokingly said like, "Oh, the Warcraft guys, be careful, we're coming for you in 2 years or whatever, or next year we're coming for you." And of course that didn't really happen. That's kind of what I wanted to say in the first place. Like, I know Wardy, dude. The guy is good, and that guy is a grinder. So if he wants to get into a game, he definitely can get into a game, and that would have made things, I think, a little more problematic for us. Do we have to fight for broadcasting licenses then? At the moment, it's no problem, right? We ask a tournament organizer, "Hey, can we cast?" And he said, "Sure," and that's all the process. We don't have to send any PowerPoint thingies to a tournament organizers to prove that we are worthy to cast a tournament. We don't have to fight. There's no fight in the community over broadcasting rights. Just everybody can stream whatever, basically. So in that sense, it's kind of cool that it stayed that niche and didn't blow up.
Yeah, we're like, I've always asked you this too. Like, and you always seem like you were never worried. Like, were you never worried about someone else? Because there's so many entities in StarCraft 2. There's Base Trade TV. There's Wardy TV. There's I don't know, O Gaming. There's like tons of, I don't know. I'm trying to think of all the, like, there's a lot of groups of literal casters that just want to take up events, and they're established and they're good. Were you like maybe at that dinner, but like maybe a week later, 2 weeks later, were you ever worried like, shit, maybe, I have to, like, I've solidified my keep, but people are, knocking at the door? Because this is your career at the end of the day. It's very competitive. In Counter-Strike, I know casting gigs are super cutthroat and competitive. It's not always fun laughing in games. It's people undercutting each other. It's people trying to screw each other over because they want the gig and they want the chance to, cast the major event. And did you ever worry, like, or were you like, no, I've solidified myself enough and I'm confident?
Yeah, prior to the launch of Reforged, I don't think it was a big deal. We had very good connections to China. We were in talks with ESL already. We started our Rising Star thingy with AMD. So we were in a good position. And then, like, if we cast well, then we really cast well, I think. If we really prepare for big events, if everything is super serious, then I think we're really good, and I don't have to fear competition, I think. I mean, of course, if Tases and Atosis are coming in, yeah, that's really scary. But apart from that, like, I think it was more dangerous for me than it was for Remo. because he's super deep in the game with knowledge and stuff. For me, that's not really the case. But if I'm not casting, I can still produce, I can still organize, I can still do all the stuff I do in the back. Just figure out how much I'm getting paid then for it. I think was the problem.
Man, that's a really good point. I think we should talk about that. Is just being a like the type of caster, like color commentary, which is Remo and Carson, play-by-play, hype, which I would say is me and you. I would say like we're kind of the same. Like you and Remo are kind of me and Carson in the same boat. Yeah. They're both very, very important, and they're like it's very hard to put two color commentators together and have like an exciting broadcast. Some people are very, very good at it. But yeah, I think that's a really good point. That's something I struggled with too, man, because my game knowledge, I've seen the game, I've watched tons of games, I've probably observed like 60,000 games, not even lying. I had a replay folder from like 10 years ago.
It's still shit though.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad. Dude, hold on. If I was just observing, it would be good. But handling production, casting, and observing, that, first of all, who else does that? What other games do that?
Yeah, I don't think I think Age of Empires did it prior to the most recent major events. But I think that's it.
And that's a big thing too. Like, do you want to stay on the state of Warcraft 3? Because I would love to like maybe get into like
we can just talk whatever.
What a lot of people have talked about the difference with like COVID events. What have you? Do you think it's easier or harder to do an online broadcast? You've done the regional finals, the Katowice thing, where they sent you all this and they basically put you behind a booth. The production was pretty sick. Like you've done the Dreamhack things where you're like building this broadcast team and doing all the production, and everyone's at their own remote location, no crowds, no nothing. What do you think about the casting in COVID right now?
Yeah, I never really had crowds except like WCA European Qualifier 2015, which was at Gamescom. But apart from that, even if we're in China, we're not really with the crowd. We're like 100 meters away in the studio, kind of locked into a room. So we don't really hear them or feel the energy or something. So that's something I can't really miss because I never experienced it. What I do miss, and I definitely had that in Anaheim when I was casting the final with Remo, that if you're standing next to your co-caster, it's a whole different energy. You know how he moves. Like in that, I think it was the final of Moon Focus. We were just running around that little booth like hungry tigers in a cage. I don't know. We were moving so much, and that is of course not really possible here. You can't try, but you will probably rip the cords off of your PC, or you're sitting anyway. So in general, the first thing is it's a lot easier to cast when you're standing up than when you're sitting down, because like the voice just behaves differently and you're more energetic. And of course, if you see another person being as passionate and as energetic as you are, then it gets infectious and you hype each other up. So it's becoming a dynamic that's only at offline events. So I definitely missed that. We had that at Meisterschaft as well, which was really cool, because we were able to be in Cologne for a day thanks to ESL, and they make miracles happen. But for the Dreamhacks, it's a whole different thing. I'm not getting so hyped, but it's such a cool environment as well. Like it's way more chill. You don't have to talk to like real life talk to admins or other people. You're not getting distracted at all by small talk, chit chat. Maybe you want to dodge a person because he annoys the fuck out of you at that event, but he keeps coming back at you and asks you questions. You can all, like you were in Anaheim. Well
done.
Yeah, but that is not true. I actually approached them and watched the games with them, so it's all in good faith and humor. But yeah, it's there was a lot of times when I had headaches, especially in China, when I don't know. It was just too much social activity for me. I think Remo is way better with that. You will probably be better with that. But sometimes when I'm done with the cast, and sometimes I had to do a little extra production, like uploading VODs and stuff. So it was stressful days, and then I didn't really want to hang out. And here, I can join the Discord if there's an after show Discord set up, but I don't have to. I can just sit here and listen to music. So for me, as a not super 100% social dude in real life, it's way more chill.
Yeah, I think those are a lot of good points. I think like body language is so huge. I've never done a live cast. I imagine you just feed off each other's hype, and it makes the segues a lot better. If some guy's going off, you're just going to let him keep going. Whereas, online, we kind of just play off silence and play off cues, like, okay, is he done his point? Can I go in? Is he going to clear up the hype? Should I end this game with my hype? You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to do that online when we're just in different countries. Yeah, that's cool that you got the Anaheim experience, and obviously the Meisterschaft offline finals. You get to like see your co-caster and feed off each other, and that's cool to think that you're like running around the booth, that Anaheim booth, just getting hyped out of your mind. You're like, running into each other, just trying to like feed off that energy. That's really cool, I think.
Especially at Meisterschaft. That's following up on something you said, like body language and stuff. Slash was with us at Meisterschaft Season 2, and Yoss was with us Meisterschaft Season 1. So I casted with Yoss in like 2015 the last time, I think, or 16 maybe. So 5 years ago, or 4 to 5 years ago. And with Slash, I casted the last time 10 years ago. And in between, there was nothing, not even an online broadcast, I think. And it was, to be honest, a little unprofessional. We had the first semifinal, and we walked into the booth, and we didn't really do rehearsals casting together. We didn't do like, hey, I'm the analysis and you do the hype, or there was no rules at all. We were about to go live, and then Slash said, yeah, how do you want to do this? It's like, oh, yeah, we should have talked about this probably, but let's just do how we feel it feels good. And it was, I don't want to say it's perfect, because that's kind of bad to say about your own work, but we didn't ramble into each other. There was no cutting each other's off. It's like when you can point towards things, like when I casted the first time with Todd, he introduced me to, if you're done talking, just do a hand signal, like point at me or something. And it's so simple and it's so effective. And that's what we did then. And good casts, even though we didn't talk to each other in 10 years. So this kind of, I don't know, the magic of Warcraft. You understand the game, obviously. You understand how the other is casting because you listen to him all the time. But then in real life, it's all way easier, sometimes just by the sign of a hand, pointing to each other.
Yeah, dude, you feel that pressure, man. Anaheim finals, Moon versus Focus. You definitely, you're the voice on the screen. Like thousands of people watching at home. They don't get to go to Anaheim. It's like, I think it's stressful.
That tournament though, the final, that was just fun. There was no big pressure. Like this is gonna be the big tournament for Reforged. Shit was done kinda day one because of the tournament format with all like the open bracket. We didn't have big names because of COVID and the Chinese couldn't get in, and then we had player X versus player Y on the first day. That was not hyped. And then when the big names were there, we had Thorzane and Moon and the game crashing over and over.
Yeah.
Esports countdown, biggest disasters, rank 7. That's me right there. And the game crashing. So there was no pressure anymore. Tournament was fucked. Tournament was done. It was just good, clean fun.
Damn, that's true. Yeah, I forgot that you guys were casting like the amateur open bracket as well, which were not
Carson on the big stage.
Dude, Carson fucked everyone. He did good, man. We honestly, we weren't there to play. Like we were there to just manage the players. Carson was there to coach. We wanted Hitman to go through very, very far. Obviously, Cruncher wasn't there, but our expectation was, Arc can do good. Flame is playing. OC wasn't in shape at the time, but our thing was, let's guide Hitman through, because this could be like Hitman's our golden goose. He was at the time, and he still is. For Dust Gaming, at least, he's super hype, puts in a lot of work, and we wanted to reciprocate that with, let's give him as many resources as he can to just win and just play. Yeah. And we just like tried to take care of him the whole weekend. He did such a fucking good job. It was phenomenal. I predicted he was going to 2-0 Lolliet, and I meant it. And I had no fucking idea if he was going to do it, and he did it. And I was so fucking proud of him. That was like a super hype moment. for us. But what were we talking about?
Good question, man. You kind of
like just like
stuff.
casting the amateur matches just dulls it right at the beginning. And then what, like it kind of, you have to be chill. How can you professionally hype, two guys that are just like there for fun, playing for fun? Like it kind of like immediately puts you guys in, oh, okay, well we're just chilling, we're just hanging out, we're casting. It's not like serious mode right off the bat.
Yeah, but from the DreamHack perspective, they want to sell their lands, right? Or at that point, they wanted to sell their lands. Now everything is a little different. So having an open bracket is for them, I think, the right approach. Just, it wasn't the right thing to start in America. That should have been either Asia or Europe to have a bigger scene there. No disrespect to America, but like it's way easier to travel to somewhere in Germany from France or Spain or whatever than to travel from Eastern Canada to California.
And they will. Huge. Like the Europeans will go from Germany to Sweden to play, or from Sweden to Italy to play, and then maybe we ride off. I would say America is probably the least motivated region. So starting there in Warcraft 3, not so much in StarCraft 2. I would say American StarCraft 2 events have been amazing over in the past, but hundreds of people flying to a location to play StarCraft 2. But that's not the case in Warcraft 3. And maybe the Europeans having a LAN at the beginning would have motivated some Americans to be like, dude, let's please I want that in America. And maybe as a second or third circuit, it would have been better. Obviously, we only got one because of COVID. But yeah, I would agree with that. Maybe Anaheim not the best starting point.
It was, yeah, I think like maybe it's Blizzard's fault or whoever was in charge to not have an invitational on launch, but they knew why they won't do it. So whatever, that's all the past. But this was good for was to connect America and Europe and maybe even Asia a little more. Like since then, you guys are part of everything, so that's the best thing that Anaheim got us. And 1 year later, you're signed to me. How did your life change since like pretty much the start of this year?
Jesus, man. Crazy, dude. Like, I think I never even thought I'd be a caster. That wasn't even my goals. When I made Dust League,
didn't either.
No, seriously, man. When I made Dust League, I just wanted to admin and run a good league, and I was gonna have Carson. I've always wanted Carson to be a voice of Warcraft 3. I think he has a great mind. He's a fucking phenomenal caster. He did amazing at the grand finals a couple weeks ago. Amazing. For a first timer.
He got praise from very important people. I don't want to share names and anything because like NDA, blah blah. But yeah,
no, and he deserved it. I was watching
for sure.
I was watching, and I just like I was in awe of like his ability to just pick up the tempo. Totally smooth casting. He was so smooth with his articulation. He was just on point, and that's a nerve-wracking thing. And I know I was on the B stream, and I was representing the Back2Warcraft stream, and I held it down. But I was looking at him, and I was actually thinking like, shit, dude, if I was in that position, I don't know if I could do that. I'm dead serious. Like, he picked up the ball and ran with it, and that's why I've always backed him as like, dude, I fucking want this guy in. He should be on the booth. If there's four people, he should.
You just took a dump because we're nervous to record a podcast.
No, okay, that's my own anxiety, which you shouldn't air out. Okay, I told you that to you in confidence.
Oh, sorry.
I told that to you. I take an anxiety dump pre-stream.
Should we bleep this out or something?
No. Keep that. That's good. Every time that the Back2Warcraft ticker is running 25 minutes, everyone's gonna be like, "Yo, he's taking a big, wet, dirty dump right now." No, that's good to keep. But no, I think when I made Dust League, going back to 2019 November. We just wanted to run a good solo league. I wanted it to be Carson as the main caster, and I was going to bring in community people. That ended up being so hard to coordinate, trying to bring in a lot of casters. There weren't any casters that actually wanted to do it. There's good casters everywhere, but nobody really wanted to step up and jump in and be like, hey, I want to do this. So I just had to pick up the ball. And me and Carson were casting together, and we're also good friends. We've known each other for almost 10 years. We have a good rapport. And it just felt good at the start. We were just casting our favorite game. We were casting our favorite region, our favorite players, and we just gelled right off the beginning. I fucking sucked at observing. I fucking sucked at casting. I was so... sorry, I got the sun glare coming in. I was so scared, like scared to talk. Like, I don't want to fuck this up. Like, am I even saying something that makes any sense? I think I've gotten a lot better now. And, a lot of that's been playing the game now, getting a better feel of, like, undead, at least my main race, just trying to get a better grasp of how the game rolls. But the first couple months were rough, man. And
I remember when I started, like, it's so weird to sit in a room and talk. Like, it's a lot more normal now. But if you do it the first time, like with Zoom calls, obviously all around the world, this happens more frequently. But if you just stare at a screen and talk, I think at first you don't realize that people are listening and that it is a normal conversation. It's just too weird.
Yes, you don't realize that they're listening, and they are listening, and in their mind, they're expecting a specific thing, and that's another big factor. They're
expect perfection,
top-notch casting, and it's got to be my way, and that's one viewer out of whatever. If you have 15, they all have 15 different perspectives of how you're supposed to do it, and if you're not doing it right,
Skill Bronze Cup round 2, you need to analyze this better, dude. Why are you off topic now? Like, no disrespect to Skill Cup, but I mean, we don't have to be serious all the time, right?
Yeah, it was super frustrating, and I think another big part is like, we didn't want to be like you and Remo. We wanted to just have fun, and that was our way of having fun.
Oh, you say we don't have fun, or what?
No. We didn't want to have to be like, okay, and here we go with another. No, you guys are I just mean we didn't want to take it so seriously. We didn't take ourselves as seriously.
Yeah.
Okay, we didn't take ourselves as seriously when we started. We would joke around. We would, 5 minutes of the game would just be us bantering. We didn't try to be something that we've seen on other broadcasts. And that's a tough too, because you just get criticism. You just get like, why aren't you doing this properly? Remo and Neo do it like this. Grubby and Todd do it like this. Tasteless and Artosis do it like this. And this is horrible. This is shit. And that was tough because I read all the comments. I still do.
Yeah, that's still so silly, dude. You have to build up filters. I mean, it's easy to say for me because I'm doing this for 12 years, but
yeah,
at some point you realize what's good feedback and where to find good feedback and how to get good feedback and what just to ignore.
100%. I learned that very quickly, I would say. I learned that. Well, I didn't learn that until I was on Back2Warcraft. So
You're
that was
still
what
reading chat. I keep on telling you, don't.
No,
read chat.
but it's not as different. It's not, or it's different now. So like I would say like when I first got onto Back2Warcraft, all I wanted to do was just make the production good. If the production's good, then the casting will eventually just get better. And it did. And then you're never going to. I was talking to Todd about this as well on the town hall. You're never going to please 100% of the people. If you try to, you will fail every time, no matter what, 100%. There will be anyone, 10, 20, 30 people that just don't like you, that just don't like what you're doing, that just have something negative to say. And honestly, you have to just remember they're the loud 1%. And 99% of the people that are tuning in consistently love it. At least I hope so. But like the 1%, you have to ignore them. And it took me a while to learn, but I definitely learned that now. I mean, some of the comments are just funny. One guy on YouTube recently commented, use me as a thumbs down for these shit announcers or something. Like use me as a like button for these shitty announcers or something. It was so funny. Like that shit's funny.
What did someone said to me that I look or sound like a retarded frog?
Yeah, like dude, like these people can't be serious. Like who says that to someone? You know what I mean? So like you can't take that shit seriously. That's just a part of the 1%, the loud 1%. But going back to, we went on a long tangent here, but going back to, I never thought I'd be casting, but I definitely love it. I love casting. I think it's so fun. I think I'm kind of, I think people can see me on the broadcast now and kind of know what to expect. I love doing with you guys. I love doing with Carson. I cast a bit with Remo lately. Me and you have a good time. Very different dynamics, which is, sure. we talked about how to pick up on each other's communication and like, me and you have, we're friends, and I know kind of a lot about your casting style, a bit about mine. So like, it's not as weird as you and Slash after 10 years going together, like that's tough. Because you're kind of just like hoping that you gel together, which you did, which is good.
Yeah, for sure.
But it could backfire. It could definitely backfire. I know I brought Hitman and Cruncher in for the regional finals, and they are great players. They have great analysis, but they are not good casters. In the sense of like queuing each other properly, not cutting each other off. So that was an adjustment for me because I just had to say, you know what? I'm just going to run with them. I'm going to let them talk. I'm going to ask them questions. It's not going to be about me this cast. So like Thursday, Friday, Saturday was just, you know what? I want to get Hitman's input on the orc games. I want to get Cruncher's input on the human games because this is something that we're not going to get very often. It's what people want. It's good analysis. And, you know, maybe it's not going to be as hype and exciting, but shit, you're going to learn something.
Yeah, it's different for sure. And like it was, like it was a B stream, obviously. I don't want to talk back on it, but it's not the most entertaining thing, or it doesn't have to be the most entertaining thing because people who look for purely entertainment will probably just watch the A stream. People who are really invested in it, interested in the games, will watch the B, C, D stream, right? That's the hardcore audience, and they will appreciate a Hitman comment or a Cruncher creep route analysis where he says, "Oh, this is 0.001 seconds faster than if you do it this and this way." Way more. The people on the main broadcast will probably like don't give a shit about that.
Yeah, exactly. So I just like, it's like picking up on things on the fly and just saying, you know what? I wanted to be like, oh, and then Lynn coming to the league. You know, you just want to like hype something up, but it's like it's not going to be the case this weekend. We're just going to put on some good games and just run with it. So I think, just like different cues, different strokes for different folks. But man, this year's been nuts. So I went from, I mean, casting is like how I occupy my whole time now this year.
So, I mean, there's nothing else to do anyway, but I think we're all having a good time. How am I as a boss?
Oh God, this is the whole this is the only reason why he wanted to do this podcast, guys. He just let's do a weekly podcast and talk. But hey, how am I doing?
How awesome am I? Come on, Bidoux, tell me.
Seriously?
No, not seriously.
I enjoy working with you. You're super active. If I have a question, you answer it in that day or within a good reasonable time. I don't even know. You know, like we hatched out what we want and our expectations and stuff like that, but we're constantly innovating and constantly changing them. And I think that's good. I think you're fine to work with. You fucking looking for a dick suck or what? Like, Jesus Christ, man.
Just want to set you up because sometimes you get oh, you're so awesome. I don't know how you do it. It's so nice. I want to be like you. I just wanted to see what you do when I'm calling you out on a podcast like this.
I think a lot of people
just want to see your reaction, dude. I just wanted to set you up a little.
I've said this so many times, man. A lot of people don't realize how much effort.
Yeah, now you start again. Stop.
Here we go. Here we go with.
Yeah. But, we don't want to slub our knobs. It's not the knob slob podcast. It's a Warcraft podcast. So we had like for the audience here, we're like 43 minutes in. We had how many talking points is this? Probably like I don't know, 10, 15. We briefly started the first one, derailed heavily, and now completely lost every single structure that we intended to have. So fuck it. We just keep it for next week. But I still want to talk about...
We should ask if people want like 3 topics and we go into them, or if they just want to vent.
No, we do what we want.
Yeah, but I think this is fine.
We don't ask people anything. It's our podcast.
This is fine. Yeah. We can put in the title on Spotify or whatever what the topping points are, all right?
Yeah, you can
like
do
we
that.
don't have to. Yeah, we're totally fine.
Yeah,
totally
so
fine. Hey,
I still like I want to talk about one thing. That's kind of my main point of this entire episode, and I wanted to get it done before we hit the 1 hour mark. So, last week we got a new PTR, and I wonder why.
We got a new PTR, and you wonder, are you asking me?
I can explain myself a little more. So, we know that this game, Reforged, is still a lot of work for all of us, and especially for Blizzard. And they updated their blog in May with the ladder, in August with the profiles, and then nothing happened. And we didn't hear from them from... When was the last patch? October, right? The patch was in October. The patch... the blog post was in August. So if we exclude the patches, it was 6 months of six and a half, like half a year of silence. Including balance, it was 4 months, 4.5 months or something. So when nothing happened, and we had all these news posts, especially starting this year, which was super frustrating, by the way. Started all with this Bloomberg article at the end of January, I think, where it said the classic team is disbanded, Vicarious Visions is taking over what was formerly the classics team, and the community made this to a nobody is working on Warcraft anymore, and the game is dead, and we will never see the profiles, and we will never see the ladder. And I think if you make a poll at the beginning of February, or also during BlizzCon, where we heard nothing about Warcraft, 95% of the people would have said we will never get another patch or update on this game again. Do you agree with that?
I think I would have, looking at what it was like, I definitely thought we're done. Yes. Yeah,
I kind of thought the same. I thought, okay, balance is decent. We got 33 champions, which is amazing. So, okay, if it's like that, then it's like that. But all of a sudden, right after BlizzCon, we got an interview with the CEO of Blizzard with the German, like a lot of publications. I think it was a group interview or something. And he said there are still people working on the game. That was in February. And now we got a new PTR in March. So I wonder what might have happened. Of course, we have no insiders there. We have no idea if there is a little bit of a team in Irvine, if it is Vicarious Visions now taking over Warcraft 3 Reforged as well. But what the F happened? Why is there a new PTR all of a sudden?
Yeah, and is this a patch that they hired, like it is Vicarious? I don't know, man. Why are we always in the dark? Why do we never not know? So like there's many scenarios. The scenario could be that they laid off the Blizzard devs and they hired Vicarious Visions, and this is Vicarious Visions that's implementing this PTR patch currently. And they're working on it, and they're part of the team, and we're good to go. Or this could be that post a giant Bloomberg article. It would look really stupid if the next article comes back in 6 months and says nothing's changed. So is this, well, we have a interview in February, now we have a patch in March. Is this like to appease the news articles and then we're going back into the darkness just so that they can get something out, right? This new PTR patch gets something out and then we're back in the dark for another year? Or is this something consistent? I don't know. The thing is, and this is we'll always do this. We're always going to wait and find out. And we're always going to give them time. And we're like hungry dogs at the bowl, man. They give us nothing and nothing and nothing. And then finally they do. And we go, oh, it's great. This is awesome. And we're back alive. And we do this cycle for like, it seems like years now. I would say the Warcraft 3 balance is pretty good right now. There are some matchups that definitely need to be worked on. But if the devs were to disappear, Warcraft 3 would be in a good spot patch-wise. And the only matchup that I think would need work, in my opinion, is human and undead. And maybe elf and orc. But that's also it's very consistent right now. Human versus orc is pretty good. Human versus orc is pretty good. I think like a lot of the patches is very. I think it's it's pretty good.
Okay, but thanks for like your elaborate opinion. But I think so obviously Reforged was already delayed, so I assume the team was pretty big prior to launch to just get it done in January. And then, of course, the team got a lot smaller. There were probably a couple of people working on instant patches and then a smaller amount even for ladder and profiles and stuff. But we kind of know that a lot of people got laid off in around October. And that's like 2 months after they announced the profile picture, the in-game profiles and stuff. So they didn't get it done, obviously, or that Bloomberg article also said that prior to firing them, they said, hey, you can work at another part of Blizzard, right? So if you know that in, I don't know, September, you will be working at a whole different part of that company. Do you still put your heart and soul into Warcraft 3 Reforged ladder? Probably not. And then all of a sudden, there was no team anymore. And I think that's the state in October then, after the last PTR. So maybe they try to rebuild some kind of team, but if it's new devs looking at this mess, they have to they have to learn the code, they have to learn what's necessary, what's the roadmap, what's the priorities, what's missing, etc., etc. That takes forever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is just the 4th or 5th rebuilding of that Classics team, or whatever you want to call it. And I hope that there's a PTR now shows that they kind of finally somewhat settled on something. Some people. That's my hope. I'm being hopeful and positive here.
Well, I mean, somebody's working on the team now. Like you posted, some people are reading the forums. Blizzard, like, devs are here. There are some form of dev or some form of community manager that reports to the devs. Somebody is working at Blizzard that's listening to the community. That's 100% confirmed. Now, like you said, changes take time. Are we going to get there? I don't know. What would you like to see? Do you think, obviously, like, a ladder will come out? Like, let's say a ladder comes out for BNet, right? And we go back to the Frozen Throne type ladder. It won't be as good as War 3 Champions.
Yeah.
War 3 Champions has more servers. They're not going to have as many servers. They won't have the answers. So
it's still keeping players at the game and gives people a reason to play. Not
yes, the people that don't know about War 3 Champions, yes, 100%, which is a big majority. It's great, but it won't solve all our problems. You know, we won't have the I don't think we'll ever have true LAN except for at LAN.
There is true LAN. What do you mean?
No, I just mean, like, we won't ever, like, cross server online tournaments will always be a problem.
You can't beat the speed of light.
No, but I just mean, like, what are the issues with Warcraft 3 right now, in your opinion? Why do we need a dev team right now for Warcraft 3? Ladder and what else?
It's just, like, the main thing. I think this is going a little too big of a topic because we all know how many problems there is. But I think the most important thing is to have a sign of activity so this fucking dead game thing stops. Reddit was so bad between January and March, especially, like, prior to the PTR, basically. It was every single discussion was a dead game anyway. How many times did I read, there's actually, guys, there's no team working on this game anymore. Did you know? Like, tagging me in chat, like, at Back2Warcraft, do you know there's no team anymore working on this game? No, dude, it's just my heart and soul that I pour into this game. I don't read any news. What do you think? Stupid idiot. I read this so many times, and it's so good to have at least this little bit of a PTR balance thing to just shut these guys up. Yeah,
I agree. And this is a big patch.
Yeah, gonna be good.
You know, it's a lot of changes. It's you know, I think it's a patch that also encourages another patch because it's so drastic, some of these changes, that you'll definitely need to revisit them. And I'm sure that they know this. They're not just going to leave a lot of these changes untouched. So that's what I like to see too. It's not a patch that, you know, you can kind of dead end stop and be like, okay, we'll give this a whirl. This is a patch that, you know, we have to try this out for a bit, but we're definitely coming back to it 100%. And so
I think the biggest sign of this is that they are willing to change fundamentals of the game, and that is the sell value of items. You can hurt the game so much with this, and I don't think you do this change until you're either super brave, super stupid, or dedicated to tweak this in the future.
Well, I mean, the teleport, that was just a miscalculation because they just obviously didn't think about that. Like keeping that at 75% as well is a big oversight. I think that obviously the community needs to tell them, which is fine. That's the whole point, right? That's the whole point. They put out changes and we go, wait, hold on. Selling a teleport for way more money is going to change a lot of matchups. People will just sell the teleport to get ahead on an extra Ziggurat Nerubian tower push. You know what I mean? Like, this could change a lot. So people need to, that's the whole point. So do they pick up on that? Do they change that? Now we'll see. Now we have an actual change being occurred, the patch coming in. We have the community outreach, people talking about it. Now it's their turn. We put the ball back in their court. How are you going to react to this? Is this going to go through the PTR or is it not going to go through the PTR? So I think just wait right now. I think we're in a good spot. They said Vicarious Visions is working on it. It looks like somebody's working on it.
No. No one said Vicarious Visions is working on it. Nobody said that ever.
They said they're taking over the dev team, no? For Reforged.
No. They work on a lot of remasters and stuff. They work on Diablo 2 Resurrected. Nobody ever said they work on Warcraft 3.
Oh, so the CEO said there is a team, but he didn't mention that it's specifically Vicarious Visions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, read the news for once, man.
Dude, honestly, I don't really like this stuff doesn't really concern me though, you know? Like ladder, yeah, it's great, but there's always community people that fill the void. War 3 Champions has filled the ladder void. There is ladder. Now, can we siphon all the people from BNet over there? No, that's the issue, but you know, like ladder won't change all our issues. Profiles won't change all our issues. I think we have a lot of players. I'm just speaking for the pro scene, but you know, we have a lot of players that really care about balance, and we need to get to a point where it's you know, decent enough to say, okay, buddy, we fixed it. Shut the fuck up now and play. There's some matchups that even I would say dude, I'm super unbiased. I don't give a shit about balance. I always think the better player will win. If you lose, you're shit. That's my mindset the whole time. If you lose, you're shit, get better, because 120 would have won that, or Infi would have won that as human, or, you know, Lin would have won that as orc, or Moon would have won that as elf.
Happy.
So yeah, but it's like, well, you know, Moon's incredible. Well, be incredible then. Like, why would you want a balance patch to bring you into a better state as a player? Become the better player. I will never sympathize. Dude. I will never sympathize with balance winners. Never. There's a way to win. Period. And that's where we're going to end the podcast. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
So there's so many people whining, though. I think maybe that's a topic.
They will never change. And who's whining? For the most part, it's the 16, 17, 1800 MMR people that aren't good at the game. They're just average. You know, the pro gamers whine, but for the most part, ping's an issue. Ping is an issue. 100%. Okay, 130 ping, 100 ping is shit. In high level,
100 ping is not shit.
100 ping is
do you know at what ping StarCraft Extreme Masters is played? That's a tournament for like what, $250,000 or something. They play way higher than 100 in StarCraft 2.
But Warcraft 3 is more micro intensive. It's a different game.
You always find excuses, man.
I'll give, dude. You want to play
next
200
week?
ping?
Next week we talk about ping, and then I'm going through the roof here.
All right, we'll talk about ping.
It's gonna be fun. Last thing I want to add to that PTR thingy is, I'm not sure if it was the last time or the second last time we had a PTR. It felt like a kind of a conversation that they threw out a PTR. We all gave feedback on it, and a lot of people gave feedback on it. Then they changed something a week or 2 weeks later. Then we gave feedback again, and then at some point, like the third or fourth iteration was then the live patch. And I would really like to see that as well, like steps of 1 or 2 weeks in between PTR, because what we saw after this PTR is that people are willing to give feedback, like a lot of people. I started this pros, semi-pros, and casters give their opinion on the PTR thread, and I thought, okay, this will have like 4 entries or something. And then all of a sudden it was a whole page. It was like 20 people saying something, and that excludes...
And it's good feedback too. It's good feedback from everybody. Yeah, it's good.
And that kind of excludes China. I think I only got TH for that, and that excludes most of Korea as well. I think I got Lawlight and Soen's feedback in there. But yeah, obviously I don't know Korean stuff, so I can't really enter that until someone sends it to me, and then I put it in.
But if this is a different team, Giannis, if this is a different team and the other one that did answer in a week and then put something out and then answer in 2 weeks and put something out, if they got sacked, then this is going to be a different approach, right? Maybe they don't. Yeah, maybe they don't react like that. So you can't expect that. And if you do expect that and it doesn't come through, you can't be upset. This might be a different team that maybe they want to take a month, and then I don't know. We'll have to find out. Yeah, we'll have to wait. You know, but like I said, this is a great patch. This is a great PTR. We've hatched out. We've told people what we think up for changes. Now it's in their court to either not put it through the PTR or change it. The ball's in their court right now. Like you said, that Reddit post, tons of great feedback for devs to make their opinion. I think the items need to be revisited. There's a lot of things that need to be revisited, but it's a good start.
I like to think that after all the criticism I had on my Twitter, last year I had one positive tweet to Blizzard, and that was how they handled the PTR. I like to think that they printed that tweet out, just printed it out 500 times and put it on the walls in the whole classic department. So that's what they learned.
Godfather speaks.
Godfather speaks. Indeed. Damn, this is exactly the 1 hour mark.
We can keep going. We don't have to do an hour. Why do we have to do an hour?
This is kind of what we aim for. Dude, we might run out of topics and steam, and I started working 14 hours ago.
Okay, well, if you want to be a bitch about it, we can turn the fucking podcast off.
We will turn the fucking podcast. You
know what? 1 hour. 1 hour is good. 1 hour is good. We could.
The people have to be hungry, especially the people who watch this for free, and they can't wait for the next episode now. And so they go to our page. What they can do to get more of us is to go to our Patreon, patreon.com/Back2Warcraft, sign up, and get.
What tier gets it? What tier gets it? Is it tomato presentation?
No, tomato is not it's the Theorycraft and above gets access 1 week earlier to this wonderful podcast on Patreon. And you support the team. You support the Neos, the Remos, the Bidoux, the Carsons, and everyone
definitely
else
left some breadcrumbs. We definitely left some breadcrumbs. I think this is good. We cut off right now. I would say we're leaving our brothers starving. You know what I mean? Just thirsty, ready for more. And I'm ready for that.
All right, crew. We want to know what shall we discuss. We have Ping on the list already. We still have the entire list of talking points we had prepared for today. Send us your input. What do you want us to talk about? This is, of course, going to be a priority on Patreon as well. You can sign up there. We also have playlists curated for you. You got entertainment tips by Remo Demo when it comes to movies and series. You can get replay analysis from the coach and the theory crafter himself. You can play with us some custom games once a month, and you can get private coaching there as well. And of course, this podcast is part of the Patreon experience as well. So starting at $2 or euros, I should know this is probably euros. Starting at €2, you can get a Patreon.
Two or three.
Something like that. You get access to Discord channels where, of course, we want to interact with you as well. This is our more personal side compared to the professionalism that at least Remo and I have on the broadcast within the tournaments. Well, this is kind of what I have. Remo, let's not talk about Remo. He's not part of that. He can do his own podcast. Anyway, that was episode number 1. 1 hour, 3 minutes. Anything to add? We did it. Yeah. We did it. Number 1, that was good. And I'm looking forward to the next one. Any support from the Patreon is really appreciated, guys. A lot of this team here does a lot of work. This guy right beside me does a lot of work for this community. This just keeps the train rolling, and we also value your feedback. Did you like episode 1? Is there anything? Can we just do the same thing? Do you guys want us to cover some topics? Sometimes we're going to run out of topics, so just feed us what you want. Other than that, we're just going to vent and have a good time and shoot the shit. And we love you. I need an outro. Okay, yeah, come up with a catchphrase, Ricky, please. Okay, yeah, we love you's kind of strong. I can't do. Maybe it's true though. You have nothing else in your life, so that's it for episode 1. Bye bye. See you next week.